Hello, and welcome to part 4 of the prologue. I know I said I wouldn't be re-recording it a fourth time, but I had some technical issues come up for this part of the recording session. So, I'm going to be doing it again. And after breakfast, I lay out my plans for the day.
学校に行くだと？
ええ、何か問題あるかしら、あーちゃん。
問題はないが、しかし、それは。
Archer looks reluctant, but doesn't protest after spending a whole day with me. He probably understands now that Tosaka Green doesn't go back on a word once she's made up her mind. I can sense his disagreement even if he doesn't voice it, but I've also learned that Archer has a sincere side. Beneath all the sarcasm, he won't whine about a decision he's accepted. Yep, he's loyal and awkward like that. That's what my intuition says, at least after watching him yesterday.
リン、マスターになったからには常に敵マスターを警戒しなくてはならない。学校という場は不意の襲撃に備えにくい場所だろ。
そんなことはないけどね。いいあーちゃん。私はマスターになったからって今までの生活を変える気はないわ。それにマスター同士の戦いは人目を避けるものでしょ。それなら人目につく学校にいれば不意打ちされることはまずないと思うけど。
そうか。リンがそう決めたのなら、だが霊体化して君の護衛をするぐらいはいいのだろうな。まさか学校に行っている間はここに残れ。
当たり前じゃない。学校に限らず外に出るときはそばにいてもらうからね。マスターを守るのもサーバントの役割なんだから頼りにし。
それを聞いて安心した。信頼に応えるのは騎士の務め。せいぜい期待に沿うとしよう。だがリン、もしもの話だが、その安全な場所に敵がいたとしたらどうする？
何？学校にマスターがいるかもしれないってかて？
そうだ。確かに学び屋には生徒と教師以外は入りにくいが、すでに内部の者がマスターだとしたら厄介ではないのか？
それはないんじゃないかな。この町には魔術師の家系は遠坂とあと一つしかないの。そのあと一つっていう家系は落ちぶれてるし、マスターにもなってないし。
マスターになっていないとどうしてわかる？
うち以外に魔術師の家系がいるんなら真っ先に確かめるのは当然でしょ。そいつマスターにはなってなかったし、あっちの家系の後継者にはマスターになるだけの魔力がないから無視して構わないわ。
そうか。つまりリンの通う学校にはもう一人魔術師がいるのだな。だがマスターになれるほどの魔力を持ち合わせていないと。
そういうこと。だから他のマスターは外からやってくる連中が大半のはず。そんな連中が学校にまでやってくることはないでしょう。
まあ今の段階ではな。だがリン、何事にも例外は存在する。もし学校に君が知らない魔術師がいたとしたらどうする？
だからいないってば。魔術師っていうのは他の同業に敏感なの。1年も同じ学校にいたらね、どんなに隠してても魔術師の存在は感じ取れる。断言するけど、うちの学校に魔術師は2人しかいないわ。そのうちの1人が私で、もう1人はマスターになるだけの力がない魔術師見習いなの。わかった？アーチャーの用心はただの杞憂よ。そんなこと絶対にありえないんだから。
だからもしもの話だ。物事には常に裏目が存在する。 起こるのもまた運命だ。もしそういった事態になった場合、私に八つ当たりをするのだけは思いとどまってほしいと言っているのだ。
I finally get to voice something. Archer chuckles dryly. His smug attitude already makes me want to do exactly that, but I'll be late for school if I let him keep pushing my buttons.
そんなことあるわけないじゃない。もしもの話っていうのは起きないからもしもの話なのよ。もしそんなことになったら、その時は私の見通しが甘かったってだけなんだから。
よし、確かに聞いたぞ。それでは行こうか、リム。君の学び屋まで30分。そろそろ出なければ間に合わない時間帯だ。
驚いた。もしもの話って本当にあるのね。
ああ、私も驚いている。いや、何事もケチをつけておくものだな。思わぬところで役に立った。
This is our exchange the moment we pass through the front gate. It's almost time for homeroom, so there are students on the way to class all around us. Archer and I stand still like a pillar in the swirling human sea.
空気がよどんでるどころの話じゃない。これ、もう結界が張られてない。
Oh, by the way, I'm gonna cut this around 35 minutes just so it exports properly.
完全にではないが、すでに準備は始まっているようだな。ここまで派手にやっているということは、よほどの大物か。
とんでもない素人ね。異常を感じさせる結界なんて三流だもの。やるんなら仕掛ける時まで隠し通しておくのが一流よ。
で、君はどちらだと思う？
さあ、一流だろうが三流だろうが知ったことじゃないわ。私のテリトリーでこんなゲスなもの仕掛けたやつなんて問答無用でぶっ倒すだけよ。
I let out an indignant huff as I crossed through the grounds. As a mage, there's no sugarcoating it. I won't be satisfied until whoever made this bounded field gets what's coming to them. I'm on my way back from the music room after second period. I spot a first year floundering in the hallway. She looks like she could use a hand with a large stack of documents she's carrying.
手伝うわ、さくら。どうさか。何、プリント？世界史って言ったらうちの担任じゃない。クズキのやつ、女生徒に使いをさせるなんて何考えてんだか。ほら、半分貸して。はい、ありがとうございます、先輩。いいっていいって。それじゃあこれ、さくらのクラスまで？久月先生のところです。誤字があったから回収するって言ってました。納得。久月は融通きかないからね。一つ誤字があったぐらいで試験を中止させるやつだった。試験って学校の試験をですか？そう、あれは去年の中間試験だったかな。みんながガーッとマークシートを塗りつぶしてる時にやってきてね。誤字があるので正しい問題ではなかった。よって試験は中止。後日改めて行うってあの調子で淡々と言ったのよ。私たちも驚いたけど先生方も驚いてね。今でもあれは語り草よ。なんか久月先生らしいですね。それ先生、物を教える立場に間違いは許されないって人ですから。久月のは度が過ぎてるけどね。さくらもそのうち思い知るわよ。久月の堅物ぶりったら 岩か山かって感じなんだから。
遠坂先輩、久月先生のことが好きなんですね。先輩がそんな風に言うなんて珍しいです。
そう？まあ確かに久月はもうちょっと柔軟性があればなって思うけど。
Though he's alright just the way he is, ultimately. The faculty test school is made up of both really nice teachers and some real scary ones. It's a delicate balance that Mr. Kazuki is an important part. No, you know what? I'm gonna read that properly. It's a delicate balance that Kazuki Sensei is... That Kazuki Sensei is an important part of me, so sticking to the carrot.
まあ2年になればもっと久月と顔を合わせるようになるわ。あいつは倫理も受け持ってるし。そんなことよりさくら、ちょっと聞きたいことがあるんだけど、いい？
何ですか？
昨日の話なんだけど、さくら、見かけない外国人と話してなかった？
見てたんですか、先輩。
たまたま。それであれ何だったの？知り合い？
いいえ、それがよくわからない人だったんです。あの人、道に迷ってたみたいでした。いろいろ聞いてくるんだけど、何を言ってるのか聞き取れなくて、
Speak up, I can't hear you. God, that just sounds mean. Ah, that's when she slipped away. There's a reason she's like that, but that won't be for a while.
そっか。ごめんなさい。少しだけ気になったから。
いえ、構いません。ここまででいいです、先輩。あとは届けるだけですから。
そう？それじゃあまたね。
I returned the printouts to Sak, but before I head back to my classroom, I find myself stopping.
さくら、最近はどう？
はい、大丈夫。元気です、私。
そう。シンジがまた何かやったら言いなさい。あいつはどってものを知らないから、黙っていると悪化する一方よ。
心配いりませんよ、先輩。兄さん、この頃は優しいんですから。
There's not much I can say to a smile like that. We are say our farewells again and leave my underclassmen acquaintance. The school day is over. The classroom steadily empty and the campus darkens by the hour. The crimson sun will set soon. Once night falls, there won't be anyone left around.
始めるわよ、あーちゃん。まずは結界の下調べ。どんな結界かを調べてから消すか残すか決めましょう。
I speak to my invisible partner. I feel him nod in acknowledgement. Bounded fields are meant to protect their casters. You can consider them a terrain-based magecraft formed by weaving magical energy into a net and applying it to the earth to affect the inside of the field. There are countless types of effects they can have, ranging from walls that isolate an area from the outside world to avoid detection to fields that limit the type of magecraft that can be activated within. The most offensive types suppress biological functions inside the area of effect. And that's what's been applied to the school grounds. While it isn't finished, everyone in the school will collapse once it's activated. Something like that wouldn't work on me, though. Bounded fields are, after all, targeted at the area I'm in, not me specifically. Such indirect magical interference won't affect a mage with magical energy flowing through their body. Similarly, the electrical current charges that flow in the atmosphere won't disturb the electrical currents within my body. That means the bounded field has some other purpose. Whoever it is that put this thing here isn't trying to defeat a master with it. I don't believe it, but they're targeting all the people within the school. There's only one possible reason for that. It's a thought I can't stomach. After checking all around campus, I finished my search on the roof. It's thoroughly dark outside now. The school gates shut at 6 p.m. It's now 8 p.m. So Archer and I are the only ones left in Archers in the spirit form.
これで7つ目か。とりあえずここが起点みたいね。
There are 8 symbols boldly drawn on the rooftop. The purplish red They're purplish red marks that only in mage you can see. I've never seen or heard of sigils like these.
参ったな。これ私の手には負えない。
Whoever set up this bounded field did it recklessly, but while imprudent, the magical working itself is an order of magnitude beyond my own skills. I can temporarily erase the energy of the curse, but I have no way to dispel the bounded field itself. All the spellcaster needs to do is supply it with more energy to reactivate the curse's effects. Archer doesn't comment. He's probably remained silent since encountering the rooftop sigils because he too has realized their nature. This bounded field does more than drain its victim's stamina. It would literally melt everyone inside once it's turned on. There are bounded fields which rob victims of the life force and spiritual energy, but the spell that's been applied to the school ground is on a whole different level. This is no less than a soul eater, a blood force which melts the human bodies inside and forcibly collects the souls that ooze out. Since antiquity, souls have always been difficult to handle. They're theorized to exist and are considered to be necessary components of magecraft, but only one mage has ever proven their existence. Our definition of soul stops at that which examines within it, that which is transferred between vessels. It not only extracts souls, but then captures them in one place. It defies comprehension. What's a mage supposed to do with a bunch of energy we can't even converge? If I had to think of a purpose for it.
アーチャー、あなたたちってそういうもの？
It comes out colder than I intended.
ご推察の通りだ。我々は基本的に霊体だと言っただろう。故に食事は第二ないし第三要素となる。君たちが肉を栄養とするように、サーバントは精神と魂を栄養とする。栄養を取ったところで基本的な能力は変わらないが、取り入れれば取り入れるほどタフになる。つまり魔力の貯蔵量が上がっていくというわけだ。
He's right. The way to make your own seven strong is to indiscriminately attack human beings.
マスターから提供される魔力だけじゃ足りないってこと？
足りなくはないが、大いに越したことはない。実力が劣る場合、弱点を武士で補うのが戦争だろう。周囲の人間からエネルギーを奪うのはマスターとしては基本的な戦略だ。そういった意味で言えばこの結界は効率がいい。
Archer said unless you murder people or take their power if I want to win. It's so simple. I've always known this to be true and I know it's the path I'm supposed to walk.
それ勘に触るわ。二度と口にしないで、アーチャー。
Staring at the sigils, I make my stance clear. Oddly, Archer sounds just as put
同
off.
感だ。私も真似をするつもりはない。
His answer comes firm and resolute.
さて、それじゃ消そうか。無駄だろうけど、とりあえず邪魔をするぐらいにはなる。
I approach the sigil and extend my left hand. The magic crest engraved on my arm is like a grip I pass down through the Tosaka line. Mental switches flick diverse magical energy through the magic crest. Load a verse of bounded field erasure. Take a deep breath and activate it. I then send a pulse of magical energy via my left hand. That should wash away the sigil.
なんだよ、消しちまうのか？もったいね
Who are you? Suddenly, a third verse chimes in while I'm casting my spell. Go all around. A man is perched on top of a water tower some 10 meters above, looking down at me. He's clad in a deep blue that blends into the night. His mouth is drawn into a grin. He has a bestial air about him. The beast's gaze is sharp and clear. In this bizarre situation, the man in blue watches me as if he's greeting a friend he hasn't seen in a
これ
decade.
あなたの仕業？
え。いや、小細工を浪するのは魔術師の役割だ。俺たちはただ命じられたまま戦うのみ。
His tone is lethal yet carefree. This man can see
や
Archer.
っぱりサーバント。
そうとも。で、それがわかるお嬢ちゃんは俺の敵ってことでいいのかな？
My spine tenses. The man's voice is detached and nonchalant, but it's colder than anyone I've ever heard. So scary, it's nauseating. It's the best move here. I don't know, but my brain is still working enough to tell me that I absolutely must not fight him.
ほう、大したもんだ。何もわからねえようで要点は抑えてやがる。ああ、失敗したなこりゃ。面白がって声をかけるんじゃなかったぜ。
The man raises an arm. It appears in a flash as once empty hand now holds. A scarlet 2-meter-long weapon. My legs throw me to the side before I can think. There isn't time to even hesitate about jumping off the roof. With all of my might, I make a mad dash for the fence, intending to barrel right through it. It's like it lifts my hair into the air as by the skin of my teeth. In that instant, something slices through his face. I was just tearing the fence apart with it.
いい足してるな、お嬢ちゃん。
A blue whirlwind pursues me. There's no way out. The fence is behind me. My flanks are cut off. I won't. I react swiftly. My magic class surges to life so I can leave this thing become rage. The spell lights mass manipulates gravity. Light doesn't felt my body bounce into the air.
分かってる、任せて。
I can jump over the fence to plummet off. Air resistance and gravity push and pull along my body. It's about 50 meters to the ground, 1.7 seconds away. Too slow, he's gonna catch up to me.
ゴッドエスアドレス。アーチャー、着地任せた。
I let Art to absorb the shock of the landing and break through the ashes as we touched down. I couldn't stay on that rooftop. We needed less craft to maneuver, which to do freely. A battlefield without obstacles where Archer and I can truly shine. It takes me less than 7 seconds to escape from the roof to the schoolyard, a distance of over 100 meters crossed at a pace no normal person can manage, much less clearly see, and yet...
いや、本気でいい足だ。ここで仕留めるのはいささかもったいなさすぎるか。
Against the servant, it's wasted effort.
アーチャー。
At the same time I draw back, Archer materializes before me. It's a cloudy night. Archer's hand grips a short sword that faintly reflects the moonlight.
へえ。
The man's lips twist into an ominous
いいね。そう来なくっちゃ。話が早いやつは嫌いじゃない。
The whirlwind howls. It's the weapon he swung at me on the rooftop. A spear of blood like crimson that came mercilessly for my head.
ランサーのサーバント。
いかにも。そういうあんたのサーバントはセイバー。って感じじゃねえな。何者だ、てめえ。
Gone is his carefree ease from a moment ago. Archer stays silent, facing off against Lance's unconcealed bloodlust. There's just under 5 meters between them. Lance's weapon is nearly 2 meters long. It doesn't feel like this beast of a man is going to be deterred by a mere 3-meter difference.
まっとうな一騎打ちをするタイプじゃねえな、てめえは。ってことは、アーチャーか。
Archer doesn't take bait. An unusual clash of blue and red stare each other down. The two knights, somewhat similarly dressed, mutually calculate the other's
いい
demise.
ぜ。好みじゃねえが、出会ったからにはやるだけだ。そら、獲物を出せよ、アーチャー。これでも礼はわきまえているからな。それぐらいは待ってやる。
Archer doesn't answer. His back is steely as a sword seems to convey that he must not have anything to say to someone he must defeat. That's when I realize such for Archer's ready for
ア
my
ーチャー、
work. I call out to him without getting any
手
closer.
助けはしないわ。あ、
Such a laugh. The red knight surges forward, his lips curled in response. Wind swells. A scarlet bullet flies forth, blade in hand.
バカな。
The blue spear thrust intercepts him. With the charging archer is a gust of wind, and the spear tip that rises to meet him is a defiant storm. Streaking blades, elegant parries, archers put on the defensive, fending off the swift thrust with his short sword. The man in red is stopped in his tracks, his advance denied by the enemy. He can't even breach the 2-meter coverage of the spear, pull on wheeling to control his opponent's range. Lancer, with his nearly 2-meter reach, needs to simply engage his foe whenever he comes within
旧兵風情が接近戦を挑んだな。
Lancer snarls fury with each thrust. Lancer closes in, the assault never letting up for a second, moving in too close is suicide for a spear wielder. The advantage of the spear is the ability to control the enemy's position. Lancer shouldn't have a chance but keeps closing in.
嘘。
But that's only according to conventional wisdom. Unerringly, unceasingly, Lancer's spear seeks to pierce Archer's throat, shoulder, forehead, or heart. The strikes are too swift to even leave, and after which Archer is forced to parry, block, or evade every move of the spear. Any strike if true would be a mortal blow. Still, Archer is a servant, even if he specializes in the bow. He won't be brought down smoothly by mundane attacks. The thrust at his forehead is quickly batted aside, and Archer renews his charge in spite of Lance's spear. One might think that sword play is all there is to Archer's attacks, but he's exploiting the weakness of spear tactics. Against the spear's considerable reach, neither retreat nor evasion are viable defenses for long. A half-hearted withdrawal isn't enough to get out of range, while probing attacks will lead to evisceration. A reckless charge will similarly end in impalement at the end of the spear's range. Archer and Lancer are more or less the same physical stature. Without heavy armor, it's difficult for Archer to penetrate the lethal storm of Lancer's attack radius. But Lancer's strikes are a different story. The high-speed thrust intended to pierce vital points are indeed terrifying, but each strike is a set trajectory target. If one can predict these, then there are ways to avoid harm. Just as Archer did, one can block the strikes aimed at vital points, or just barely evade the arcs to create safe openings. Lancer probably underestimated him as a ranged specialist. The advantage of a long weapon is the generous range in which one can engage the opponent. By giving that up, Lancer in the shoulders. The man in red stops in his tracks and watches a nightmare unfold as if time is rewinded. Lancer's attacks become even faster than before. Archer's short sword is knocked aside as he twists to avoid being skewered. Lancer's spear doesn't allow retreat, or rather, his endless attacks are so fierce and sharp that even servants are doomed against them. We were the ones who underestimated our enemy. That servant, that Lancer, and his spear can't be described in mundane martial terms. Who could possibly survive such a relentless barrage? Archer beats a desperate retreat while parrying strikes, creating slightly more distance between the fighters. In that moment, Lancer steps into the gap and unleashes an even more ferocious attack. The storm of attacks is a little different from what he's already been doing, but their execution is truly godlike. They've already clashed 10 times. No, it's actually several times more than that. The torrent of spear strikes increases again in intensity and number, threatening to take Archer's life 1,000 times over. If it isn't even a change in speed, but in precision. At a steady pace, Lancer's spear comes down on Archer like a waterfall. How can Archer get inside his guard with such a short weapon? All he can do is defend against the spear. He's nowhere to close in on Lancer. In fact, he's being forced backwards. The steel vacuum stretches out. I should be backing Archer up the right wedge down my throat. My magecraft isn't easy to aim precisely. I risk hitting Archer too if he can't get far away enough from Lancer. Meanwhile, Lancer's advantage will only deepen. And to be honest, I'm captivated by the duel. So this is a battle between servants. The Holy Grail War is a battle between familiars of the highest order. Heroic spirits, beings that we mages can't begin to approach. Servants, familiars, divided among 7 classes and roles, serving 7 masters. Supreme familiars called forth by the Holy Grail itself. The familiar is really a misnomer for them. Familiars are supposed to be subservient minions who act on behalf of a mage. Normally you'd imagine something like Puss in Boots, an elegant white bird, or a disobedient black dog, something like that. These sorts of familiars are what a typical mage cannot manage to command. Familiars are just that, from the Latin for a menial servant. It's inconceivable that a mascot used for menial labor would be stronger than its master. Servants are a different story. They're quite literally the most powerful examples of humanity. Even the 5 magicians would be able to control them. Sorry. It's difficult to summon a servant, but not because servants are more powerful than mages. Servants are beings that surpass magecraft itself. To be clear, servants are heroes of the past, myths, legends, fables, histories. We call the glorious superhumans from our traditions heroes, whether the tales are true or not. Immortalized by what humanity says about them, they cease to be merely human after death and ascend to something greater. People who work miracles, who save multitudes, or accomplish great feats are elevated to the status of heroes either in life or after death. They become a type of elemental we call heroic spirits, guardians of the human race. It doesn't matter whether they were historical people or characters from the mythology, heroes are created by the thoughts of the people. We imagine them as the idols we wish they were and treat them as if they were real. Objective truth is irrelevant. Fame and faith are sufficient to give form to these legends. The humanity's ultimate ideals, the greatest among us. That's what it means to be a hero and a heroic spirit. Naturally, it's impossible for a mere human to control something greater than human. What mages usually do is borrow a portion of their power and imitate their feats. Summoning a complete heroic spirit is simply impossible. Yet the Holy Grail makes it possible. It allows us to summon these spirits in the flesh and even bind them to our command. The sheer absurdity of it proves the Grail's omnipotence. That's how heroic spirits are summoned from across time, whether the age of the gods or as recent as a century ago. The 7 heroic spirits serve and protect the 7 masters, and each master sends the servants out to defeat enemy masters. It's a deathmatch between the heroes of every age and every land. That's the story behind the ritual we call the Holy Grail War. Let's fight better soon. Of course, there are limits to what the Grail can do. Even the Holy Grail can't indiscriminately summon mythic beings akin to elementals. Just a form created by the people is required to merely materialize the 6th theoretical factor known as demons. Heroic spirits need a material form to operate in this world. This is their temporary label of the way they're allowed to exist in the world. The Holy Grail provides vessels that heroic spirits can easily materialize in, called classes. Only heroic spirits that fit these classes can be summoned. The class is like a passport that lets the heroic spirit visit the modern era to act as a familiar. It's a material vessel that they temporarily possess. There are 7 masters and 7 heroic spirits to serve them. Each is assigned one of 7 classes. Saber, the knight of the sword. Lancer, the knight of the spear. Archer, the knight of the bow. Rider, the cavalier. Caster, the mage. Assassin, the silent killer. Berserker, the mad warrior. Only heroic spirits with attributes corresponding to the 7 classes can be summoned to the modern world, and they become servants with whom the masters can command. As the 7 system, humans summon and make contracts with these heroic spirits beyond our ability to handle, all in hopes of winning a miracle beyond our ken. It's the greatest of battles that can only happen here in this land, like like no other Holy Grail. Or sorry, I just lost the epic voice. Whoopsie. The duel reaches an even higher pitch. The sword goes flying from Archer's hand after blocking one of Lancer's strikes. Lancer's skill is consummate. A seemingly straight thrust suddenly whipped into a disarming arc at Archer's wrist. It was an attack that Archer couldn't have avoided even if he saw it coming. There isn't an effective way to parry the spear with his sword. A forceful block is countered with an even keener strike, while defending with minimal force will never create an opening to exploit. The clash between sword and spear shaping up into an intense struggle to defeat an enemy outside of Archer's reach. There was no hesitation in Lancer, even as he taunts Archer. He pauses from the constant pressure he puts on Archer. Does he intend to settle the duel in an instant? Lancer takes a firmly rooted stance, trading a firing glare with the now unarmed Archer. It happens in an instant. In the span of a breath, Lancer looses a flurry of blows that's no less than a flash of light, imperceptible. Forehead, neck, and heart. The spear moves to skewer all 3. And yet, another flash of light counts as the first that I couldn't even follow. Archer's hand grasps his short sword once more, like the weapon he used earlier as a Chinese sword, not dissimilar to a cleaver, but the greatest difference between them is blade and blade. In each hand he grips his sword, each clearly meant to complement the other. Lancer's spear sinks through the air. It becomes even faster as the herald Archer's sudden death. The duel becomes a symphony of clashing blades. 2 steel instruments play a resounding chorus, the sparks of the conflict rising to a never-ending crescendo. Their battle is like a vacuum. It sucks in all the air around and makes me feel as if like I'll be cut if I even dare to approach it. I'll have it in an instant too, but as I watch with bated breath, the moment seemed to stretch on. Lancing his foe out blast over 100 times already. Archer losing a weapon each time, but instantly another sword appears. Archer's empty-headed. Lancer is slightly driven back each time. Lancer finally acknowledges his massive miscalculation. He has no idea he's fighting, but it would be a mistake to keep dismissing his opponent as a foeman. A space opens up between them. Lancer puts significant distance between them. Maybe intends to start over. That agility isn't normal. Archer's charge defies human ability, but he's sluggish next to Lance, so the swiftness of Lance's retreat had the speed and grace of a leopard.
27それだけ弾き飛ばしてもまだあるとはな。
Oh, sorry. Lancer sounds irritated. Actually, he sounds more confused than upset. I feel the same way. According to my father, servants typically only have one weapon. They're supposed to be a singular relics of unimaginable power, not expendable items to be drawn over and over like archers doing. Servants are heroes whose spiritual rank are elevated to the magnitude of elementals and divine spirits after death. In a way, they're not unlike angels and demons. They're powerful familiars on their own, but their greatest strength is the mighty weapons they prove their heroes. We call these magic items noble phantasms. They are the favorite weapon or armor that a servant used while it was a living hero, and literally the servant's secret weapon. To a servant, a noble phantasm is a one-of-a-kind armament. It's a servant's indispensable ultimate weapon as well. The same goes for Lance's spear. It can exhibit its power as a noble phantasm if he so chooses. A noble phantasm is a formidable weapon on its own, but its true power is expressed by invoking its true name. Heroes' weapons are known to have slain dragons and gods, to have conquered the earth. Servants activate noble phantasms with their own magical energy. It's not unlike magecraft, actually. Servants use their noble phantasms as catalysts to recreate the destruction from the legends. The noble phantasm is most certainly not a disposable tool. Archer has produced dozens of swords by now. Each seems like a masterwork unto itself, but they surely can't be his noble phantasm. He's an archer, after all. His secret weapon must be some kind of bow.
どうしたランサー、様子見とは君らしくないな。先ほどの勢いはどこに行った？
タヌキが減らず口を叩きやがるか。
The cause of Lance's irritation is obvious. Lancer has been fighting as a spearman, while Archer has been fending him off as a swordsman, meaning that Archer hasn't revealed his cards yet. That must be frustrating to deal with.
どうしたランサー、
No, damn it!
様子見とは君らしくないな。
タヌキが減らず口を叩きやがるか。いいぜ、聞いてやるよ。てめえどこの英雄だ？二頭使いの旧兵なぞ聞いたことがない。
そういう君は分かりやすいな。僧兵には最速の英雄が選ばれるというが、君はその中でもえりすぐりだ。これほどの宗師は世界に3人といまい。加えて獣のごとき敏捷さといえばおそらく1人。
ほう、よく言ったアーチャー。
For a moment, the bloodlust is so strong I forget to breathe. Lance's arms move. It's a deliberate stance without any of the nonchalance he's shown thus far. Spear dips as if to puncture the ground, but Lance's eyes bore straight to
ならば食らうか。我が必殺の一撃を。
止めはしない。いずれ越えねばならぬ敵だ。
Lancer lowers his stance simultaneously. A thorny, bitter cold hoof takes a schoolyard. The air freezes. I don't mean that metaphorically. It's literally ice cold. All of the man in the atmosphere freezes solid. Only the warrior Lancer is allowed to breathe in this space. The sphere in Lancer's hands is undoubtedly magical, its true form eager to burst forth. Oh no, he's going to die. I don't know what kind of noble phantasm that is, but Archer is finished. It's the first time I've had this kind of premonition. As hard as it to believe, I don't doubt it for a second. If Lancer unleashes his spear, Archer will die. That's absolutely certain. As Lancer says, his spear means death. Archer will lose. Lancer will stab him through the heart and he'll die. Despite that, despite these premonitions, despite this insight, I can't even help Archer. I feel like if I so much as lift a finger, it'll signal the beginning of the end. If there's a way to prevent Archer's defeat, then it can only be the sudden appearance of a third party whom we've all overlooked. Lance's ferocity disappears. I hear the sound of someone running away from behind. I can clearly make out a school uniform.
生徒、 まだ学校に残ってたの？
そのようだな。おかげで命拾いしたが。
Archie answers coolly. Sure enough, the interruption did save her
失敗
skin.
した。ランさんに気を取られて周りの気配に気づかなかった。で、アーチャー、あんた何してんの？
見てわからないか。手が空いたから休んでいる。
んなわけないでしょ。ランさんはどうしたのよ。
さっきの人影を追ったよ。目撃者だからな。おそらく消しに行ったのだろう。
For a moment, my thoughts grind to a halt.
追ってアーチャー、私もすぐに追いつくから。
Alright, I'm gonna actually end this one here because we ran a little over time, but I wanted to finish the fight, so I will catch you on the next video coming soon. Goodbye.